What's going on, guys? The time has come for another She-Ra and the Princesses of Power review, and today I'll be sharing my thoughts on Season 4. Now, to be perfectly honest, I really wasn't sure how to approach this review. With each season of She-Ra, I keep taking more and more notes because there's just so much to talk about. So today, I'm primarily going to focus on the recurring elements that stood out to me the most throughout the entire season. As always, this will be a spoiler-heavy review, so if you're not caught up to the end of Season 4, you have been warned. I went into this season with a very high level of excitement. The first 3 seasons absolutely blew me away with their amazing characters, vibrant animation, impressive world building, and engaging story arcs. Season 3 in particular provided answers to many lingering questions and laid the groundwork for more revelations to come. But what I had really hoped to see in Season 4, and thankfully what I got, was change. The end of Season 3 marked the halfway point of the series, and it was a major turning point for all of the characters, so I was interested to see how things would be different for Adora and her friends. The beginning of Season 4 sets this up nicely with Glimmer's coronation. Even before the episode starts, Glimmer has undergone a redesign while Adora and Bow have remained the same. This is a very effective way to visualize how Glimmer has had to grow and adapt to a new role quickly, and it also foreshadows that she will become distant from Adora and Bow over the course of the season. And let me tell you, as heartbreaking as it was at times, the growing rift between Adora and Glimmer was a highlight of Season 4. I've always been a fan of stories that deal with a falling out between 2 protagonists because they have so much potential when it comes to raising the stakes and creating good drama. The writers took full advantage of this to create one of the most interesting arcs in the show so far. Seeing their friendship slowly unravel over time made for some incredibly emotional moments, especially when Glimmer becomes so angry that she blames Adora for her mother's death. Even though she instantly regretted it, the scene made me fear that things would never be the same between them, and this actually is the case for the rest of the season. Glimmer's conflict with Adora also helped weave together different plot threads effectively. One of my concerns with the revelation about the first ones was that it had begun to feel separate from the main conflict of the show, and I wasn't sure how they were going to come together. Well, this question is answered when it's revealed that the first ones were harnessing Etheria's magic as a weapon, and this becomes a major plot point for the characters. Adora knows that this power is too dangerous, but Glimmer feels she has to use it to save Etheria. This divide between them made for excellent drama, and it helped us learn more about Adora in the process. Speaking of which, I suppose it's important to talk about everything we learned about Adora. While we still don't know exactly who the first ones are, it is revealed that they weren't who Adora was led to believe they were. I loved the episode where we got to learn more about Mara and how she sacrificed herself to save Etheria from her own people. It was a nice parallel to Adora leaving the Horde to fight for the rebellion, and I've said plenty of times before how this show excels when it comes to parallels. Just think about how all these revelations must have crushed Adora. She left the people she grew up with to become She-Ra, and she trusted Light Hope and learned a lot from her. Then she found out that she was once again being used as a weapon by a powerful empire, and that Light Hope was actually the one who stole Adora from her family. The season goes out of its way to make all of the characters and their storylines as interesting as humanly possible. I now love Mara and was crushed by her sacrifice. I finally understood Madame Raz a bit more. I was torn between hating Light Hope and then being sad when she died, and I've never been more interested in Adora's character progression. I hope the final season explores all of this a bit more because the show always leaves me wanting more information. Now, if we're talking about a character who gets more and more interesting with each season, then of course we're talking about Catra. Her arc is a nice balance between finally getting everything she wants, but also losing everything she needs. The more ruthless she becomes, the more guilt she feels. The more people she pushes away, the worse her mental state becomes. Everything that happens is her own doing, but I also can't help but feel sorry for her because it's understandable why she is the way she is. She's been hurt, abandoned, and misunderstood so many times in her life that she no longer has the ability to connect with anyone or ask for help. If I were in her position, I'd probably think it was too late to change. Still, with everything falling apart around her, perhaps Season 5 is where she'll finally pull herself together and do the right thing. I certainly hope so anyway. Real quick, I want to talk about some of the other characters in this season. I love Double Trouble. They're sly, charming, devious, and at times really funny. I always love villains who you simultaneously root for and against. You know they're on the wrong side, but they're just so likable you can't help but root for them anyway. Double Trouble's various impersonations were also great. I really liked Flutterina, and while I was initially disappointed when I learned she was a spy, it was also great seeing Double Trouble sow conflict between everyone else. This was also a great season for Scorpia. We learn more about her past, she finally leaves the Horde, sees the truth about Catra, and she joins the Princess Alliance. I've always admired her character despite being in the Horde, which is why her finally doing the right thing was so satisfying. Same goes for Kyle, Lonnie, and Rogelio. We finally got to see more of them, which I've been wanting, and they finally had enough of Catra and left the Horde as well. Not sure if they'll join the rebellion, but either way it was nice to see. And of course all of the princesses were great this season, and they got a lot of fun moments throughout. Now obviously I have to talk about the season finale. I love the irony of Shadow Weaver's situation at the beginning. I do finally believe that she's sincere in wanting to help Glimmer, and she does try to stop her from making a big mistake. But just like with Catra, she helped create the problem that she's now trying to stop. It was also cool seeing Shadow Weaver reunited with Micah, and it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic works next season. Also, with Glimmer a captive of Horde Prime, does that mean Micah will have to resume being king? I loved getting to see Entrapta again. I was wondering if maybe this would be the time that her circumstances finally change her attitude, but thankfully she's just as quirky and energetic as ever. We do briefly see her insecurities about people leaving her behind though, which made for a touching moment between her and Beau. Double Trouble's betrayal of Catra took me by surprise, but it also made sense once it was revealed that they sided with Glimmer. Catra just can't catch a break when it comes to friends, can she? I've been wondering what would happen when Hordak learned the truth about Entrapta, and this episode didn't disappoint. He doesn't even ask Catra to explain herself, he just straight up tries to kill her. The most shocking part was that Hordak actually cried when he learned the truth. We have to get an episode where Hordak and Entrapta reunite now. I had mixed feelings on Glimmer helping Scorpia connect to the Black Garnet. Obviously I hated her trying to use the weapon at all, but she also helped Scorpia with issues at the core of her identity, and she seemed happy unlocking her potential. I like that we encounter situations like this that don't feel completely black and white. The scene with Double Trouble getting into Catra's head. Once again, entertaining seeing character impersonations, but Double Trouble also summarized Catra's arc really nicely. They highlighted Catra's big dilemma, whether the people who hurt her were wrong or whether she pushes everyone away. Obviously it's a mix of both, but it was a really intense scene nonetheless. Adora versus Lighthope. One of the most thrilling scenes in the entire series so far, and I honestly didn't know what would happen. The only part I'd had spoiled was that Adora's sword is broken, but it didn't take away from the shock value. To top it off, Adora finally brings out the real Lighthope only for her to disappear moments later. At least she honored Mara's memory in the end. Once again, I love the parallels between Glimmer and Catra. I think it was smart setting them up to work together in the next season because they probably have more in common than they'd like to admit. They both rose to power quickly, and they both made questionable choices to get what they want, pushing away friends in the process. They even have a complicated relationship with Adora now. Maybe Catra helped her because she sees herself in Glimmer. Only time will tell. On a smaller note, Adora looks really good with her hair down. Just thought it worth mentioning. We finally met Horde Prime. He's essentially a bigger, more refined and calculating version of Hordak, which isn't surprising since Hordak is a clone. Their encounter went about how I expected, though I'm honestly curious to see what will happen to Hordak now. And so, Season 4 ends with our heroes at their lowest point. She-Ra is gone, Glimmer and Catra are in the clutches of Horde Prime, Etheria is under his control, the universe is in danger, and it's unclear how much magic the princesses still have. Here's a quick list of questions, concerns, and so on that I have for next season. When will Glimmer reunite with her father now that we know he's alive? Will the Rebellion and the Horde have to work together? What will Glimmer's relationship with her friends be after all the mistakes she's made? How much of the larger universe will we get to see? Will Entrapta and Hordak be reunited? My guess is that she'll help fix whatever Horde Prime did to him. Will we learn more about the first one's end, where Adora came from? Is there another rebellion in the wider universe fighting Horde Prime's empire? Will Catra get a redemption arc? If so, how will she make amends with all the friends she hurt? All of these questions are the only real concern I have for Season 5, since there's so much that needs to happen in just 13 episodes. Still, I suppose it's normal to feel that way as the show nears its conclusion, and the creative team hasn't disappointed so far, so I'm going in optimistic. So that's my review of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Season 4. Once again, this season did not disappoint. It had fantastic character development, exciting revelations, and it set the stage for an epic conclusion. I really don't want this show to be over, but I'm also really excited and can't wait to see how it ends. But what are your thoughts on She-Ra Season 4? Do you agree with my review? What was your favorite episode of the season? Whatever it is, feel free to share your thoughts down below. And as always, please don't comment spoilers for anything that happens in Season 5. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other She-Ra reviews. I'm also thinking about reacting to the final 13 episodes, so keep an eye out for that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for my review of She-Ra Season 5.